Man, guys, I have not been on the bike in weeks. I have had a hell of a time, and I'm here to tell y'all all about it. So first off, let me start off by saying, big victory in my life. I passed my CCNA. My God in heaven, that test was, well, actually, let me stop for a second. That test was not as bad as the first half, honestly. The CCNA is two tests. It's the CCENT and the CCNA. CCENT, I had to take that damn thing 4 times before I passed it. CCNA, first time through, passed it, and man, I literally did a happy dance, sprinted out to the car, and called everybody. I was so damn happy to be done with that. Unfortunately, I still have one more of those classes left. I still got to get my CCNA Security and my Linux Plus and the Java class. I got 6 classes left, and I'm done with school. So I am very happy to be done with that section of my life. But right now, I got to get some go-go juice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, drink up, baby. Oh yeah. Oh. Okay, you're done. Yeah, I'm so glad to be done with my CCNA, guys. You have no idea how much stress that has put on me. And of course, work hasn't been much better, man. Ever since our coworker passed away, I've been dumped with a lot of his responsibilities, and I've had to learn a lot of things very quickly. A lot of long hours, some after hour stuff. Man, I'm tired, very, very tired, but it's worth it. I'm happy for the most part. I've been pretty stressed, honestly. It's really started to get to me. I had to take a day off of work because I've always had issues with anxiety and depression. I've battled it for years, and for the most part I can manage it just fine. But you know, every once in a while when there's a lot piled on me, it gets to me. But I took a day off of work, chilled out, relaxed, took the weekend off, and just tried to chill and reorganize my thoughts. You know, and I found the source of a lot of my anxiety is like social media. And I know that sounds weird, but I got to thinking about it. I'm like, social media is an awful thing for me. I don't like it. So I've limited my time on social media significantly over the last couple of weeks. And that's all platforms, you know, mostly Facebook, because that's where the bulk of my negativity comes from. You know, I still do a fair amount of YouTube because I can kind of pick and choose what I see. But kind of where my problem is with anxiety, at least in my case, I get into these moods, and it's really hard for me to explain. But I get in these moods where I feel like no matter what I say, people are judging me negatively for it, you know, and that after the fact I say something, somebody will make a smart-ass comment about it, and that fucks with me. It does. It messes with my head, because I guess it goes back to my days of when I used to get bullied all the time. That was a common thing that would happen. I'd say something and people make fun of it. You know, it kind of puts me off. I'm like, well, maybe they really don't want me here. And in the back of my mind, I know that's illogical. You know, and I know that's not really the case. But at the same time, you know, it's a really weird thing to explain, and I can't really explain it. But it's like I get these feelings that nobody wants me around, nobody really cares about me, and sometimes I'm just, it's like I'm waiting for somebody to give a damn, you know? And I know that there are people that do, but unless I need like that reassurance, I guess you could say. I need people to like reinforce that. You know, when I graduated college, or the first time. My church at the time, they didn't do anything for me. I got a pat on the back and an off you go. And that was really about it. But at the same time, there was another group of people that had graduated the year before. Well, actually, it might have even been earlier that year. And they had this big cookout for them. They got them up in front of the church and prayed over them and you know, gave them gifts to help them get started. You know, people throw them birthday parties and they're happy to see them. And the thing about it is, in the back of my mind, and hell, it may even be true, I don't know that it's not, but I've never had a birthday party that I can remember. Like, I haven't had a birthday party since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I don't have a lot of friends. I never have people reach out to me just wanting to hang out. I got one good friend in my life, and the motherfucker's like my brother, and it's Ski. And I guess that's one thing that bothers me too is, you know, people care about people, and they do for people who have impacted them. And I have tried over the years to impact a lot of people in one way or another. Usually through advice. You know, I've learned a lot of things over the years about my career. I have no problem sitting down and coaching somebody. You know, I've gone out of my way a lot of times to make sure people had what they need. But it seems like no one ever does that for me. And I know it sounds stupid and petty, that's why I never bring it up with anybody, and I haven't brought it up for years. I mean, it's bothered me for years. But I've never brought it up, and I've just kind of pent it up because I figured people would judge me for it, honestly. I felt like people would just say I'm complaining and I should be grateful for what I have, and I don't necessarily disagree with them, but I can't help feeling the way that I feel, if that makes any sense. And I guess this turned into kind of a rant video, but it's very therapeutic for me to talk about these things and talk about anxiety and depression, because they're not always logical. They're not always logical. Yeah, there's a lot of things in my mind that bother me, and that's why I've kind of removed myself from social media for that reason, because I feel like nobody really cares whether I'm there or not, to be completely honest. You know, I'll upload this video, you know, I could probably think of one person that'll reach out to me. I'm not even going to say who it is, but I could think of one person who'll probably reach out after this video and at least offer me a listening ear. And I appreciate that. And, you know, this is a problem I have with the church as well. You know, I consider myself to be a Christian person. I'm not very good at it, and I got a long way to go on that. And I'll be honest, there's days I don't even try. But I remember the last church that I went to, and even today, when I walk in there, everybody's going to love on me. And those people took care of me. When my mom got put in the hospital, she was on a ventilator. She fucking died like 3 times, and they resuscitated her. It was a really tough time. And thank God she'd lived. But my church took care of me. They made sure I had what I needed. They made sure that I was okay, that I had support. They made sure my family was taken care of. My parents didn't even go to that church, but they made sure we were taken care of. And I made sure they were taken care of. I did all their computer work, no charge. Anything that they needed, never even thought about it. The church I go to now, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I've had a lot of problems with this church in the last few years. And part of this is my fault, because I'm not engaged in the church like I should be, and I admit that. I'm just not. But a lot of that comes from my anxiety and all the things that I would like to do. Like, I would love to work with teens. But I've got a jaded personality. I'm a very aggressive personality. I've been through some shit. Okay? I've been through some shit. And I'll talk to these kids on a real level about that stuff. I'll tell them about what it's like to have a gun to your head, trying to think of a reason to live till tomorrow. I'll talk to them about that stuff. But I don't think the church really wants people to talk about that kind of stuff. You know, when I first started going to this church, I always carried my gun with me, and sometimes I open carried it, especially in the summer when it was hot. And the pastor asked me to conceal it. He said he wanted me to carry it because he wanted somebody there to, you know, to defend the church in case somebody tried to shoot the place up. You know, it's real fucked up that you got to worry about that kind of thing, but it happens. And I told him, yeah, that's not a problem. I'll conceal it. That's not a big deal to me. And he asked me to be on what they call the greeting team, or parking lot team, or whatever they called it. And so I was, and we always made sure there was somebody there. So on Facebook, I will get a little animated. Well, I won't say I'll get animated, but I'm very firm in my belief on how you respond to incidents like that, and I'm not very keen on euphemisms. Euphemisms? Yeah, that. I don't like to sugarcoat things. So, on occasion, once or twice in the entire time I've had Facebook, I've said that, you know, if somebody comes into my house or into my church and they mean to do harm to my family, including my church family, I will kill them. Because there's no hesitation there. There's no questioning what's going to happen. I'm going to engage that threat and put a fucking end to it. Well, not long after that, I don't remember how long it was, the church actually started what they called a safety team, where they had security and stuff, and the pastor asked me out to lunch. And which I should have known, because with the pastor, and I don't fault him for this, he's a busy man, but it's never a social call when he calls me out to lunch by myself. So he basically tells me that because I said these things on Facebook, that I wasn't allowed to be on the safety team for that reason, because they were worried about legal issues and people being prone to violence. And I just accepted it and moved on and decided that church wasn't for me anymore. And it basically came down to they felt I was a liability. And I tell you, man, that hurts. That does. That hurts to be told that you're a liability, especially when the person telling you this is the person that asked you to fulfill this role to begin with. And you know, I've tried to get over it and I never did. You know, I tried to get past it and I just never could. And I'm being real honest here. I don't know if any of my church people watch these videos. If they do, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend, but this is just my thoughts. This is what this channel's for. But on top of that, my wife, when she was pregnant with our second child, she had a lot of trouble with hemiplegic migraines. They're migraines that mimic stroke. You know, you go numb and stuff. Pretty gnarly stuff. No one offered to help her from the church. Another lady got pregnant. They offered to try to find somebody to come clean her house. Nobody helped my wife. Nobody from the church. Matter of fact, when Rachel was born, no one from the church even came to visit us in the hospital. We got a couple of messages. That was it. But anyway, it's getting dark. I got to get back to the house and chill out, have a drink. Y'all have a good week. Be kind to one another. Take care of each other, man. You know, there's enough bullshit going on in the world. Don't sweat the small shit. But, yeah. Alright, y'all have a good week. I'll try to put out a happier video next week. That's a big ass fire. Deuces, man.